Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be giving my full review and opinions about the first issue of the canon Arrowverse crossover titled Earth Prime. It's all on comic books. I'm going to be reviewing it. Just a side note, what you're seeing in the background right now will not be precisely what I'm talking about in the video. It's just for background footage. This is just for you to listen to. If you want to pause the video, look at the couple sections that I took screenshots of to read a little bit, you can do so. Otherwise, I recommend reading the comic book or looking for a video on YouTube, watching the comic book or reading it, whatever you want to do, and then coming back and watch this review, because I'll say it is spoilers and a little bit for the shows as well. Issue number 1 is Batwoman. Friday night, aka tomorrow if you're watching this Thursday night, I will be doing my issue number 2 review, which is over Supergirl and Lois. That will be out Friday night, so I hope you guys are excited for that. If you enjoyed the video, hit the button down below, subscribe for new, notifications on. Let's get right into the review. So, it takes place after the events of Batwoman 307. Now, I want to be clear, I don't watch Batwoman. I quit watching after the pilot because I just don't care for the show. So, if you watch the show, you know what the point they're at. If you don't, you're going to be along with me as we go through this review. So after 307, where Mary was infected by poison ivy's vines, Ryan made a deal with her mom, Jada, whatever. She'd help out her brother on ice and help put her brother on ice, and Jada will provide a cure for Mary before she's completely under Ivy's influence. However, the plan went haywire. Ryan had to sign over Wayne Tower to her brother, Marquise, in exchange for the cure for Mary, and Mary fled Gotham alongside Alice. So that's the point where we're at. And Batwoman, we'll find out when we get to Supergirl and Lois, Flash, Legends, and the final 6-part, and for Stargirl as well, where all these comics take place, so it's good that they're providing that. So it starts off opening up with a kid named Tanner, and is being basically bullied by the jocks of the school, you know, the athletes of the school. And they're at a campfire, the kid Tanner's being bullied, as I said. Clayface, which I'm pretty sure is the first time we've ever seen Clayface in the Arrowverse at all, takes over the kid and fully becomes the villain known as Clayface. Luke gets an alert from Twitter, of all things, that there's an attack going on down where the high school's campfire is going on, and they know that it wasn't poison ivy because they're still on their radar at this point. So they knew it wasn't poison ivy because vines weren't in use. So Luke calls Ryan to go there. She drives a Batmobile over there. Batwoman tries throwing a batarang at Clayface. Now I'm assuming this is her first ever encounter, because again, he's never been brought up in the Arrowverse, but she did know some things about him, but she was expecting the batarang to do something to him, and it didn't, because he's Clayface. Batwoman learns the monster is Tanner, and tries to talk him down. Pep talk, Flash fans. Now, Batwoman said, and I'm quoting this, "You've become something else." Everyone is assuming this is a tease to Arrow, because that's what the intro in Arrow was. He needs to become something else, someone else. So, take with that what you will. I'm assuming it's a tease to Arrow. What else would it be? I don't see what else it could be. Tanner doesn't want to be saved and slams right into a tree. However, the suit protected her from the attack and had like a flashback or something to Mary and how Ryan couldn't save her. And it goes right back to Batwoman continuing to talk Tanner down to stop him. He still doesn't listen, and then we learned that water makes him melt, and he disappeared for the time being. There was an explosion going on while he was melting. I'm putting air quotes around that, melting, and Ryan's assuming the Batmobile got destroyed. They don't actually bring it up again, so I don't actually know if the Batmobile was destroyed. If you watched the season, you would know. If it was randomly destroyed, here's your answer. There you go. If it wasn't destroyed, I don't know what the hell it was because I never brought it up. And remember, these comics are written by the show's writers. So the Flash's comic being written by the Flash writers, Superman and Lois comics written by Superman and Lois writers. This comic is written by Batwoman's writers. So, if some things aren't, talked about in like the Batwoman Legends comic, you get why. Whether or not it's connected to the show or not, I mean, a lot of us don't know because we don't watch, especially Batwoman Legends, which are the two lowest rating shows in the Arrowverse. But the point is, I'm not going to hate on the show where I already have. So they're still trying to run the Batman trophies that got loose. After Bruce took down the original Clayface, he kept some of its mud in the cave. And when it got loose, it found a new host, a.k.a. Tanner. Now, why the hell Bruce would do that? Because, I don't know, it doesn't seem like Bruce would just do that. You can't tell me Bruce would just take a sample of the mud and keep it in the Batcave, not think anything about it. I mean, I don't know. And I will be going on a rant here and there, so bear with me on that one. They compare what happens to Tanner to Mary and Killer Croc 2.0, again, know nothing about, but they said how the hosts were being corrupted, like Tanner, Mary, and whoever the host was for Killer Croc 2.0. Alice mentioned to Ryan a while back that Clayface can turn into anyone, so it's impossible for them to track him, which we know. So I'm glad they got that part right. Clayface turns into one that Jocks' mother, acting like she's picking him up from practice. Then we go back to Ryan, who's annoyed that she couldn't stop Mary, and she's pissed off, and Sophie comes into the house while Ryan's having this episode, tantrum, whatever, and mentions Wayne Tech isn't funding Batwoman's gear anymore, obviously because it's taken over by her brother, who's the villain. So they got what they got, they can't get anymore. Ryan is worried the GCPD will kill Tanner if Ryan doesn't stop him first. She's also worried the same thing will happen to Mary. The GCPD will just kill her if they get the chance to because of how dangerous they are. So Ryan wants to stop them as soon as possible so they don't lose more people that's already been lost. Ryan gets a text from her brother to go get her stuff from Wayne Tower. And then we get Lena Luthor appearing, which is a Supergirl reference to this crossover, Earth Prime. Ryan recognized Lena as a CEO of Luthor Corp, meaning they never actually met before. Ryan doesn't know really anything about Lena besides she's running a company, which is now the Luthor Foundation or whatever it is. So they don't really know much about each other. At least Ryan doesn't know much about Lena. Lena was expecting a meeting with Ryan, not her brother. And the reason being was because she's looking for Frieza's serum, which we'll talk about in a minute. Marquise changed the locks and everything in Wayne Tower to prevent Ryan from getting in, meaning if she comes in, she's going to get arrested and a bunch of cops on her. So she can't go in there. Lena gets what Ryan is going through with her brother because she's been through with Lex. I think that was a good tie-in. I'm glad they brought it up because obviously Lena would know something among that, what Ryan's going through with the brother being a psychopathic villain. Lena wants Victor Freeze's, aka, Freeze, Freeze serum to create a renewable energy source that will provide affordable power to national cities unprivileged. Lena mentions Kate Kane told Kara about Ryan and how she thinks they'd be a great team one day. And then Kara told Lena, so Lena knows that Ryan's Batwoman now. Lena mentions using Victor's serum can stop Clayface, meaning they need to freeze him. And the first thing that popped in my mind when I read that was the Batman Arkham City game, when we got introduced to Clayface, and Batman used Victor Freeze's freeze grenade to freeze him and defeat him several times over. Obviously, the show, aka the comic, did things differently, not as cool, but the point is, that's the first thing that popped in my mind. And if you know Batman Arkham City, it was more than likely the first thing that popped in your mind too. So whether or not they got it from that, we can all say that was. So Lena got an alert, Luke got an alert of another attack and called Ryan, but by then he had moved through the sewers to somewhere else and was wrapped around the car, which I'm assuming, again, they didn't show it, but I'm assuming it was the kid that he was pretending to be the mother of, and then wrapped around it, tried to kill him. The car the kid was in. Clayface is more powerful to the point where if they don't stop him soon, he will become unstoppable. Again, an issue. That's never been the case with Clayface, as far as I'm aware. So, I mean, has he been immune to things? Yes, but freezing him has been the one thing that's always seemed to work with him, to stop him. So, and none of these villains actually become immune. I don't care what world you're in, whether it's a Batman or not, they never become immune to anything. So, I mean, I don't know. Batwoman writers, that's gonna be a meme or something. Batwoman writers, am I right? You know, show some stupid clip from stupid show. Yeah. Any stupid show, I should mean. So Lena can recreate the forum for the serum. The forum for the serum. That makes sense. If Ryan knows the chemical breakdown of it, which she doesn't, because why would she? So Ryan goes to her mother to get the serum, and Lena mentions when Kara and Kate went to that other Earth during Crisis, which was Crisis Infinite Earth's connection to this crossover, and met that weird version of Luke that had, and I'm quoting this, a six-pack and a thing for naked models, end quote. And she's glad that this Luke is more into computers than the other thing, so. Luke knew about Crisis. I'm assuming Kate told him, because why wouldn't she? And Ryan doesn't know anything about it, which makes sense because no one ever told her. And why would anyone tell her? Because she's Batwoman? That must make zero consequence to Luke or anyone in the entire Arrowverse. Want to just leave you with that for a couple seconds. Ryan's mother is, and this is in the byline of the, or not byline, this is like a sidebar in the comic. Ryan's mother is Massive Magul in Gotham, which was found out during season 3 of Batwoman. Again, I didn't watch it, so I didn't know that. Well, I knew a little bit. Lena talks to Ryan about Lex again. Clayface appeared at the school again. Ryan asks if there are more than 2 worlds when Lena was mentioning Crisis. Like, she's like, wait, there are more than 2 worlds? Like, did she know? What? How did she know there's 2 worlds? Did I miss something? Like, unless some way, somehow, there was a connection in Batman Season 2 and 3 where Ryan knew there was more than 1 world, and there are at least 2? Like, what? I don't get where the hell that came from, but whatever. But she didn't know about Infinite Earths. If there's more than 2, there's bound to be more than 2. I mean, whatever. Again, I'm really, truly trying really hard not to hate on this. And if it sounds like I am, I really did enjoy this comic. It really wasn't that bad. Could have been better, but it wasn't that bad. It's my point. It's some things. So, Lena said that Kara went to different Earths to try to save them, but didn't succeed anyway. And that Kate was a Paragon, aka the Bat of the future. And Lena mentions the Paragons don't matter anymore since the universe was fixed and Ryan is now Batwoman. Rant number 50 in this video, the Paragons still matter. If you look at the Flash season 7, I know, we all hate that season. Barry's a Paragon of love. Whether or not we want that to be the thing, he is. And he's that way because of the hero that he was, the hero that he is now, and he used that to stop several villains over the course of a couple years. Again, could it have been better? Yes. But it was still a major part in season 7 of The Flash, and it literally was said like 1,000 times that season that Barry was the one and only Paragon of Love. You know, and even Kara mentioned the Paragons a couple points that actually helped them fight a couple big bads to help them remember like their purpose as a hero. So Lena's saying to Ryan that the Paragons don't matter anymore. That's kind of stupid. Just saying. That's kind of, you know, like, I get it. They're not going to go through the dawn of time anytime soon. They won't go down that route again. But, I mean, there could still be a purpose at one point. You never know. Luke found out Clayface at the high school soccer field. Ryan goes to fight him, and he attacks the soccer players who bully him, and he saved them. Ryan continues to try to talk Tanner down. Why? But whatever. Batwoman used Freeze's serum and stopped Clayface in a matter of seconds, because that makes sense. And Lena goes back to National City, tells Ryan not to give up on Mary. Mayor Hartley wants Clay returned, but can't yet because it's bonded with Tanner. So they bring him to Arkham and put him in the chamber that Freeze used to freeze Nora in for all these decades and years, however long it's been in the Arrowverse. The Cold is keeping Clayface from shapeshifting or even using his brutal powers. Well, he can, do stuff, but he can't leave the room. Otherwise, if he does, he'll just break. So, a mysterious figure, no idea who it is, which is the big bad of this crossover. We got introduced to him. Of the 6-part crossover, comes to Clayface and persuades him to get revenge on Batwoman and the rest of these so-called heroes. The figure convinces Tanner that he is the hero, and Ryan is the villain along with the rest, Clark, Barry. He didn't mention these by name, but I'm saying that so you know what he means. The rest of the heroes, Clark, Barry, Kara, Stargirl, Court, I don't know, it's just Stargirl and Court, just like Court, and Pat, and Sarah, and the rest. If you really want to call Sarah a hero, that's debatable. The figure gives Clayface more power to be able to, I'm assuming, leave, and then he opens a portal and Clayface leaves. That's the end of the comic. Again, it wasn't a bad comic, it wasn't really a good comic, it was like an average thing. It's the first part of the crossover, and it was Batwoman, and it was made by the Batwoman writers. We should all have known that this would not be amazing. Now, at this point in time recording this, I have already read the Superman and Lois issue number 2 of the crossover, and I loved it. So that review will have 0 ranting in it, because I love Superman and Lois, and the writers are amazing. So definitely look forward to that review going up Friday night. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts of issue number 1. Pretty much just covered it all in this video, so, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.